The galley deck on a ro-ro vehicle and passenger ferry was replaced while it was still in dry dock. To do this, they had to isolate the electrical supply and tape over the wire ends. Well, during a routine washing down of the galley deck, the cook noticed the wires and, assuming that they were isolated from the supply, lifted them clear of the deck. He received a slight electric shock.
Right, before joining the vessel, I'd like to remind you that alcohol is strictly forbidden on board ship. Alcoholic drinks must not be brought onto the vessel, and any crew member found to be drunk will immediately be signed off, and an investigation will take place. The same rules apply for the use of illegal drugs. Only drugs prescribed by the doctor can be brought onto the vessel. I'm sure none of you want to lose your jobs, do you? Okay, so don't take any chances.
Hey, what are you doing in your hand?
I'm rubbing some butter on this burn.
What? But that's the worst thing you can do. It just holds in the heat.
Ah, so, should I use some oil instead? Or bathe it with hot water?
No. It's not a bad burn, so just hold it under cold running water.
Okay, the bosun has asked us to find the nearest location of these 5 items on our safety checklist.
What's on the list?
Well, there's an iron station, a life raft, breathing apparatus, a first aid box, and a fire extinguisher.
That's easy enough. Apart from the life raft, all the other items are in the passageway outside the mess room. I saw them this morning when I was on cleaning duty.
So where's the nearest life raft?
It's on the port side, just forward of the funnel and almost directly above us on the next deck. It's one of those 20-man inflatable rafts.
Okay, I suggest we go and check it out, and then report back to the bosun with the completed list. Okay, the bosun has asked us to find the nearest location of these 5 items on our safety checklist.
What's on the list?
Well, there's an iron station, a life raft, breathing apparatus, a first aid box, and a fire extinguisher.
That's easy enough. Apart from the life raft, all the other items are in the passageway outside the mess room. I saw them this morning when I was on cleaning duty.
So where's the nearest life raft?
It's on the port side, just forward of the funnel and almost directly.
Well, I've got another month here and then I'm off.
Yes, I heard you got a good job offer from that oil company.
That's right. I need to make as much money as I can before I retire in a couple of years' time.
Don't you think it'll be really stressful?
Well, I used to get stressed when I was younger, but I don't let things worry me now. Life's too short.
Did you notice that new cadet during the drill?
You mean how long he took to put on his immersion suit?
Yup, I was timing him and he took about 6.5 minutes.
Yeah, mind you, he's not the worst. Do you remember the cook who took more than 10 minutes?
How could I forget? I think the rating will get a bit of a shock when they remind him he needs to be able to don it in 2 minutes.
Yeah, you get the impression it's the first time he's ever worn one. You really wonder just what they're teaching them these days, don't you?
The cook has just cut himself, sir.
Right. How bad is it?
He's bleeding quite a lot, sir. I think he might need some stitches.
I saw him using a blunt knife the other day and told him to get rid of it.
No, it wasn't that knife. It was one of the new ones. It must have slipped into the sink. He didn't notice it was in the water when he was washing up.
So, how much longer do you think we'll have to wait for these documents?
I'm sorry for the delay. I think they must have been mislaid or put in the wrong place.
Do you think there's any chance they've been lost altogether or accidentally destroyed?
That's not possible.
Excuse me, sir. Sorry for interrupting, but those particular documents you asked for aren't on board. The superintendent took them away with him when he left.
What?
Captain, I'm sorry, but I don't feel well. I've got a temperature and a sore throat and a cough. Yesterday I was working on the deck in the rain and the wind was freezing. My watch starts in an hour, but I don't think I'll be able to do it because I just can't concentrate. I've just got to lie down.
Okay, you better go to your cabin. Have you got any medicine?
Yes, I've already taken some. Thanks, Captain. Hopefully I'll be okay tomorrow.
Have you ever been involved in a rescue operation?
Not personally, but one ship I worked on had to rescue some people. I was a third officer at the time and was keeping watch in the morning when I spotted a floating object.
What? A small life raft or something?
No, actually it was a capsized yacht with 14 people standing on top. I called the master immediately and we altered course towards them.
But it could have been a boat with pirates.
Well, we could see they weren't armed, and there were women with them. So we picked them up on a rescue boat and later transferred them to a South African Coast Guard vessel.
What the hell is all this dust and rubbish blowing about?
It's off that vessel, the one that's just been detained by the Port State inspectors. They've just got all their garbage in heaps on the deck. Nothing has been segregated. It's caused a lot of problems for all the people working in the port.
The Port State inspectors were furious when they saw the gangway, and refused to even board until the master had sorted it out. I'm surprised they didn't insist on putting a safety harness on before going on board.
Have you seen the state of the crew? I haven't seen one pair of safety shoes. They all seem to live in flip-flops.
Yeah, I don't think that vessel is ever going to leave this port. What the hell is all this dust and rubbish blowing about?
It's off that vessel, the one that's just been detained by the Port State inspectors. They've just got all their garbage in heaps on the deck. Nothing has been segregated. It's caused a lot of problems for all the people working in the port.
The Port State inspectors were furious when they saw the gangway, and refused to even board until the master had sorted it out. I'm surprised they didn't insist on putting a safety harness on before going on board.
Have you seen the state of the crew? I haven't seen one pair of safety shoes. They all seem to live in flip-flops.
Yeah, I don't think that vessel is ever going to leave this port.
How are things?
Don't ask. You know that new cadet?
What, the one whose English is quite weak?
Yeah, that one. Well, you know, last week we painted the bulkhead in the accommodation area. I told him just to paint one door in the accommodation, and then I'd check it, and if his work was okay, I was going to let him paint the ceiling. You can't imagine what happened. When I turned up there, he'd painted the whole deck in the corridor. So now nobody can get in or out of their cabins until the paint dries.
Oh no! We're going to have to teach him a few basic English words, aren't we?
I'm sick and tired of going into that workshop and trying to find tools. The reason I can't find anything is because they're all in here lying around in an unsafe condition. Why is that drill lying on that oily cloth? And what is that hammer doing on that high shelf? And who put that screwdriver into that empty coffee mug? The housekeeping in here is a disgrace. There are going to be some changes. We're going to have a toolbox talk right now. There's a lot of activity around here.
Are those 3 skiffs over there? Do you think they could be pirates?
I've been watching them. They're definitely fishermen. It's those 2 on the port side that look suspicious to me. I'm keeping a close eye on them. And there's some idiot in a lone yacht. He must be mad sailing in these dangerous waters. Anyway, I think we'll be all right. There's a group of 4 naval vessels taking part in an exercise in the area. We can call on them for help if we need to.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. This is Adriatic Delta Echo 7216. Adriatic Delta Echo 7216. Adriatic Delta Echo 7216. My position bearing 021 degrees, distance 15.8 nautical miles, east of Isle of Colo. We have lost cadet overboard in position bearing 020 degrees, distance 13.7 nautical miles east of Isle of Colo. All vessels in vicinity assist with search.
Mayday, Adriatic Delta Echo 7216.
Has anyone ever fallen off the pilot ladder? Has anyone ever fallen off the pilot ladder? How did the port state inspection go? How did the port state inspection go? Have you all seen the muster list? Have you all seen the muster list?
How can we stop the pirates boarding? What's the cause of the pollution? What's the cause of the pollution?
You took 2 minutes 20 seconds to don your immersion suit. You took 2 minutes 20 seconds to don your immersion suit. I've just taken my temperature. It's 38.9 degrees centigrade. I've just taken my temperature. It's 38.9 degrees centigrade.
Motor Tanker Odyssey, this is Bermuda Coast Guard. Advice, please change to VHF channel 15. Over.
The alarm was raised at 07:55 hours. The alarm was raised at 07:55 hours.
The temperature in this engine room is 40.2 degrees centigrade. The temperature in this engine room is 40.2 degrees centigrade.